guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackie and Judd on SKOR North and SKORNorth.com.
Well, we want them to contribute the same way we want everybody to contribute, right? Is that, we're for the better of the team. And, hopefully they're not putting their individual, goals or points ahead of what we're trying to do as a group, because we've had success as a group, without some people scoring, because everybody's pulling on in the right direction. So when you get a little sideways with that, then things don't go right with the end result.
No.
There's no flag. No, there's no reason for
the claw.
No. What about that? There's a wild claw sitting behind you.
No, the flag only gets waved following wins, man.
I think maybe the claw is for when they lose.
Yeah.
You can use the
I think you get the claw.
No, I'm giving them nothing. I am going to give
you
guys.
Are you
as
out
much
on the
effort.
wild now?
Who
would you start trading? Who would you start trading?
I'm not trading anybody, but I'm not going to give them any effort after they played the expansion Kraken last night and didn't show up, because, as Dean said, I don't know. Did we think that we could just go out there and win? Right? Did we think that, right? No, couldn't.
Listen,
no, they're getting no effort from me.
Don't underestimate the crack house atmosphere. Right. Many teams have been
welcome to the
swallowed up in the crack house.
Look, I'm going to give them the effort that they gave me and us.
You're just going to sit there.
I'll work for you guys
for 2.5 hours.
I'll do stuff for you guys, but I'm not. No, I give them nothing.
I love you get nothing. They basically their goal song is a Nirvana song. When they win,
that's a great song.
When they win, it's a Foo Fighters song. Like they are literally
Dave Grohl, man.
Yeah, they
owns the arena.
They're literally just. Not pandering to everything.
That Nirvana song is a great goal song.
Yeah.
Which Nirvana song are they using? Do you know?
Lithium, right?
Lithium. Okay.
And then they blur in "Let's Go Kraken" into the middle of it.
Yes.
That's cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good segue here. This is Feedback
Nirvana.
Friday. Mackie and Judd, daily Minnesota sports entertainment. We want titles. We raise the bar for expectations on this show. All right. We're not just satisfied with getting off to a good start here. All right. So Feedback Friday, we take all of your questions, comments, concerns, critiques. If you want life advice from Judd, you can send the best way to send us comments is through the SKOR North app. And every Friday we bring them to the show. But I have a couple that are from other platforms here too, starting with 3/4 Geek on Twitter. And he asks, what's a worse loss this week? Wild losing to the Kraken in that fashion, or the Wolves lost to the Pelicans? I will say that the Wolves, it's hard to compare these now because the Wolves made up for it by beating the Bucks on the road when Giannis dropped 40. So that was a bad loss at home. But like
Saturday night, beat the Avs, right?
Yeah.
So what was the? I'm gonna assume that the Kraken loss was probably the one that stuck with you guys the most.
Yes, it was worse. It was worse because I actually saw less from the Wild last night than I did the Wolves against the Pelicans on Monday, which I didn't think was possible. But, yeah, I think that the hockey loss was actually worse.
Yeah, we talked about this on Judd's Hockey Show last night. We were trying to compare which one was also worse. I think the Wild one is because basically you had a chance to still win that game because Talbot was phenomenal. And you had basically 12 of your 13 forwards just not show up for about 50 minutes of that game. Outside of a decent start and a little bit of a run there when you had a power play towards the end of the third. But in general, you still had a chance to win that game, and no one showed up outside of your goaltender. I would say the loss to the Kraken was worse.
What do you think Dean Evason meant when let's play that clip again actually here, because he's talking about Fiala and Kaprizov, and he's kind of saying, I hope that everything is still about the team and that they're not chasing individual stats. And I couldn't tell if he was just responding to a question or if he was trying to plant a seed.
No. Sarah asked a question about what they need to get going. And so he in no way was obligated. Like, she didn't lead him down this path. Mm-hmm. He elected to take it, which makes the quote more intriguing to me.
And there was a two parts to this too. So this is actually the second part of the clip too, that he was talking about Kirill and Kevin.
We didn't like them together, obviously. I think we switched them at the halfway point in the game, and it just didn't look right to us. And they weren't doing a lot of the same things that the group were trying to do. So we tried to mix it up. We thought we got we got a little bit better there, maybe in the first part of the third. But, that team's a real good team. They play hard. They check hard. And we didn't get much, generated, obviously, through the middle part of that hockey game.
I love, by the way, they did change the graphic to Kraken guy who scored goals too, but like the first 15 seconds there were like, hey, Ryan Hartman scored a goal, took 3 shots.
BSN,
Yay.
man.
Hold on a second here. I took a shot of this last night. Late third period. I got to give you the topics for the post game show. Okay, like if you want a good laugh, I'm going to give you. Let's see.
Did you write these down?
No. I took a screenshot because it was so funny. Like I whipped my camera phone. I'm like, I got to take a picture of this one. So
I've heard, by the way, that like of all the partners going back to Fox Sports North and now Bally's Sports North, that so the Wild are a partner, the Wolves are a partner, the Twins. That the ownership group or the owner that's the most crazed about positive graphics, positive coverage is Craig Leopold.
Okay.
That there's times where he's requested that they take shots on goal off the screen in years past. If the other team is up 8-0 shots on goal, take it off the screen.
They actually told our announcers at one point if the shots go one-sided too much, don't mention them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh God,
so here's the screen graphic. Late third period last night of let's call a spade, a horse bleep performance, right?
Okay.
Coming up on Wild Live, Cam Talbot, terrific tonight. Wild penalty kill clicking. Dean Evason press conference.
What?
They buried
That
the
was
biggest story.
I mean, come on now. Come on.
Exactly.
It's hilarious, dude. I've told you guys this story, but, like 9 or 10 years ago, I think the Twins got perfect gamed by Felix Hernandez, or it was close. Like, no, I'm sorry. Felix struck out like 18 batters or something in a 12-0 shutout. Just an absolute shove fest. But Jason Kubel had a couple singles in that game. I think the Twins had 2 hits and Jason Kubel had 2 hits, and it was like the post-game band. They got beat 12-0, just dominated for 2.5, 3 hours, and the post-game was coming up next. Jason Kubel stays hot.
Yes.
2 for 4 tonight.
And coming up, the Twins lose 11-2, but Kubel gets a couple of hits. Couple of base knocks.
Oh, my God. It's hilarious.
Jason Kubel is swinging incredibly well. It's really a positive.
I think, though, what is just like incredibly frustrating about Fiala and Kaprizov is they get 11 minutes together. Not even that. I think they had like 8.5 minutes together through 40 minutes. And because there's turnovers and there's volatility with their games, no, we're done. We're not going to go back to it. It's not working. But then they put Kirill with guys like Victor Rask. They put him with him for an extended period of time last year. And I get that to a degree it worked, but you're willing to sacrifice someone on Kirill's line because, it's fine. It's working. It's almost like you don't want to unleash that line, and it's incredibly frustrating because I think Fiala and Kaprizov are obviously 1 and 2 of your most talented playmakers, and they're going to have nights where they don't look right. But you have to give them also a longer sample size for it to see if this can click.
You've hit on one of my biggest hockey pet peeves. It's like the incessant, the obsession with wanting to change lines and shake things up. It's like, is 8 minutes of one game? Do you need to overreact and change it up? Like if you feel like these guys work together long term, maybe there's some matchups in certain games that don't make sense, but keep them. If you think it's a good long term strategy, why would you not keep them together for more than 8 minutes, like Dex said?
And if you're going to give them a chance, give them a chance. The whole team, aside from about 2 or 3 guys last night, were terrible. All right, so you're going to take these 2 guys and say, well, it was clear we didn't like it. So we talked about this quite a bit on our post-game Judd's Hockey Show, which obviously you can find from last night's game because Dex and I are very sick, and we thought we got to record something right now. We got to lay down some tracks, as the kids like to say. I've given this a lot of thought, and I have come up with. So I'm sports dad, but I also have a minor in sports doctorate. So here's what because I've been thinking about this. Like, why? Like, what's the need to like play those two together so briefly, and then like it's not working. We got to break it up, especially when the team's playing bad, and so you're trying to find a spark, right? So like, it would actually make more sense to be like, let's stick with this and see if it's one thing that might spark because the entire team is not playing well. Okay, here's what I got for you boys. We are dealing at the XL Energy Center in St. Paul with a case of what I have now termed, and this is brand new, 1120 PTSD. What that is Parisi-Suter post-traumatic stress disorder. The Wild itself is so inclined if they see anybody taking star turns, right? Like that guy's sort of doing his own thing, which in I agree is bad, but in sports it's going to happen. But in the Wild's mind, it's like, oh my God, here we go again. We got to do something. We can't allow this. We enabled this for way too long, and now we're not going to. And instead of like handling it and being like, okay, what can we do? And by the way, again, the whole team's playing bad, and we have these 2-star players, and they've played together for less than half a game, and now I'm going to break them up. 1120 PTSD. That's what that is. It's the oh my God, this has to be a team. If it's not playing like a team, everything has gone sideways. I'm developing this still, so like I don't have the vaccine yet.
You're workshopping it.
I'm workshopping it.
It's in trials.
I don't have the vaccine. It'll be done shortly, and I will be distributing it immediately without any questions asked.
Yep.
But I think that might be part of the problem here.
I do want to point out that I don't think it's possible to have a minor in a sports doctorate.
I noticed that as well. Even my St. Cloud education.
Yeah, no, but I know, but I'm developing. You guys don't understand. I'm developing things and ideas. Like you guys are used to the norms.
I think you can just say you have a doctorate. Like you don't have to say you have a minor.
No, I got too many other
in
things going on. I can't be doing this full time. Okay. I literally am like a Jonas Salk guy. I am just in and out. One thing. What I'm doing is I am diagnosing the problems with these teams, just locally here too. So if you're like the Blues, don't come to me. I don't got time for you.
All right, Kevin Johnson comments on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. This has to do with the Wild. So Kevin, awesome cross-pollination here. I got to admit, this was a very triggering comment for me. And so I'm going to read it and let you guys respond first. I want to see what you guys say. Because we get this type of comment pretty often, I feel like. So Kevin Johnson says, I'm an avid listener to Purple Daily and Mackie and Judd. Love you guys and your insight. Thank you. But, however, one thing I always disagree with you guys on is your issues with what a player makes financially and his performance, whether it be Cousins or Kaprizov. I was appalled but not surprised that you guys brought up Kaprizov's salary on a Judd's Hockey Show podcast recently, 5 games into the season. Would you guys mind posting your W-2s online so we can determine if we are getting a product worthy of your salaries every day when we listen to your shows?
Okay.
I can.
Here's a problem with that.
Is there a salary? Does SKOR North have a...
I was going to say,
are we part of a league that has a salary cap?
Okay.
I didn't know that. By the way, I would like that. If KFan and SKOR North could have the same salary cap and structure, we would welcome that. That would be amazing, actually.
Yeah. I love our stadium. So here's the salary cap is the key. The other thing is, like, I don't know how much more clear. I feel like, one, we've explained this a ton, but that's fine. I appreciate the question. One of the reasons why we didn't freak out when everybody else did about the Maurer contract was partially because that came in a non-salary cap league. And so the Twins, now, do the Twins have the parameters of a budget? Absolutely. We all get that. So I'm not being naive here. But it's not a salary cap league. So it ultimately has no effect on what they could do if they elected to. When it comes to the Cousins contract and when it comes to the Kaprizov contract, it directly impacts what both of those teams can do, not only in 2021, but well into the future. So I guess we've explained this so much, but this all comes back to does that contract, which, by the way, like in Kaprizov's case, we applauded. Nobody said don't give him the contract. But
I still like the contract, by the way, even though he's been crappy for the first 6 games.
But the question with Cousins and Kaprizov is very simple. Are they fulfilling the portion of the salary cap with their play that they're taking?
I almost feel like
Cousins is. So, but we have been very clear also in praising Kirk Cousins.
we need to get we almost need to replace money and salary, because people get weird. It's like, why are you so insecure about what some? Are you just jealous? Well, actually, yeah, I would love to make $30 million. It would be amazing. So I think everyone's a little jealous, but
I have no interest in their lives.
But that has no bearing on this conversation. So let's replace money and salary with Lay's potato chips. Okay, let's assign a Lay's potato chips value. So you are the Minnesota Vikings, or you are the Minnesota Wild, and you get 100 Lay's potato chips to assign to each player. And every other team gets 100 Lay's potato. But once you're out, you're out. The more Lay's potato chips you have available, the more you can lure players to come play for your team. It's great. And so if you give 30 of your 100 or 200 Lay's potato chips to, I don't know, Kirk Cousins, and he's not as good as Patrick Mahomes, who only needs 7 Lay's potato chips, that allows the Kansas City Chiefs to have more potato chips to give to other players to make their team better. Does that make any more sense? Like, it doesn't have anything to do with how much money they make or jealousy. It's everything to do with strategy under a cap. And what you guys, I would assume, were saying is, all right, Kaprizov, like, it's early, but now that you make $9 million and you're one of the 20 highest paid players in the league, like, going to need you to carry weight. This can't just be, you can't just be like a B-level player. You need to be one of the best players in the NHL, or the rest of the team will not be good enough for the team to get where they want to go. It has nothing to do with how much money they make, like in a actual financial sense.
And despite the fact that Kirk Cousins still eats up an enormous part of the Vikings salary cap, we have also talked extensively about how good he's been and to actually turn him loose more to justify that more. See, to me, that's the key. That's the key that people miss. We are saying if Kirk is playing as well as Kirk is right now, give him more chips. Give him more to do as far as the
I don't want to give
ability to rely on Kirk.
I still want to reduce his chips.
Reduce the chips.
But
maybe,
give him more,
maybe more chips in 2024.
More ability to justify the chips. Then
Salt and vinegar in that bag.
that's the entire point of this conversation. Is in a salary cap league, you either have to say, okay, the guy is doing his job, and therefore we're going to up the responsibility, or you've got problems. That's what makes the whole contractual situation in the NBA, National Football League, and in hockey so intriguing. Is you have parameters to work within, and what can you do as far as the paydays for your best players from a production standpoint.
It is so weird to me that this is not like more crystal clear and obvious in salary cap leagues. For instance, if you have an amazing quarterback on a rookie scale contract, the advantage that gives you, let's say you Russell Wilson from 8 years ago making $900,000, you get to spend. I mean, look at the Browns, for instance. Baker Mayfield's not that good, but the Browns as a team are like, they can bring in an extra receiver, they can bring in an extra, edge rusher, whatever it may be. They can go pay it this that, right? So I don't know how much more we can explain. Sam Gerber via the SKOR North app comments, will Judd go to the AEW Full Gear pay-per-view at Target Center in November and review it for the show? Judd Explains Wrestling.
Can I get a press pass for it? I'm not going to pay to go.
Actually, I think you can. Yeah,
you probably can.
What's the date of it?
It's the 13th. I have a concert the night before.
Oh, that's my birthday.
And I think actually I might be going with my guy.
Great way
Tyler
to celebrate.
Flores. Yeah,
52 that day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go, let's investigate a press pass.
Let's also go for Hawkeye Day. Big game for our Gophers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that'll be probably during the afternoon, and Full Gear will be more. And now you can double dip.
But anyway, tell me the date and if I can get in for free, and we'll definitely investigate.
All right. Ken Tomlin via the SKOR North app says, why are so many Vikings fans and media members optimistic about the way the Vikings record, or the way they've played so far? How is this year any different from past years under the defensive coordinator masquerading as a head coach, Mike Zimmer? I can look at any opponent's D-line and quarterback combo and know if the Vikings are going to win. Good quarterback, good D-line, Vikings are going to lose. Zimmer coaches, and I use that term sarcastically in air quotes, like someone who cares more about trying to keep his job and not lose than someone who wants to win a Super Bowl. No Zimmer-led team will ever win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I love that point. I love that point because I would like to explain myself briefly here. I'm not really optimistic. I am extremely excited for these next 4 games because I'm a sports fan. So I'm on record as saying I have no clue here. Like, I don't know. They could win 1. They could lose all 4. They could win all 4. I don't know.
Yeah.
The next 4 games to me is the blank canvas of the 2021 season. And so I'm not like, oh, I think they're going to the Super Bowl. I am excited because they're not a train wreck. 3-3 off an 0-2 start is a decent bounce back against some very questionable teams. That's fine. But I am excited. I'm not. This is not me saying that I think the Vikings are going to win a championship.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm optimistic yet. I will be more optimistic if they beat the Cowboys, even without Dak Prescott. Like if they can get over 500, but these next 4 games are really going to determine Mike Zimmer's fate. They're probably going to determine Kirk Cousins if he's going to be their quarterback next year, because you've seen some good things, but ultimately, you know, just being 500 is not good enough. And even though it's not Kirk's fault per se, the Vikings might elect to just move in a different direction because he's 33. So, like, these 4 games are going to tell a lot. Nathan Bell via the SKOR North app says, a few weeks back, the Vikings were 1-3. The intensity of the criticism ran rampant. Good teams pull these games out, people said, and Zimmer is playing not to lose with his conservative approach, is what people said. In the midst of this mindset, I was reminded of the 2-9 start of the 1991 Minnesota Twins. Tom Kelly, the team, and the organizational approach were all traversing similar criticism because they were coming off some losing seasons too. I had the following thought. What if there is a 30-year parallel taking place? The ingredients are similar. The Twins had a nucleus, Gaetti, Herbeck, Puckett, Chili, a special leader in Tom Kelly, and a resilience that was about to be revealed. This year's Vikings have a nucleus, Cousins, JJ, Thielen, Cook, Hunter, etc. And they may have a special leader in Zimmer. Surely he could be recognized as such if this team gels while going on a run. Perhaps these last-second victories are showing a special kind of resilience that's being refined in the fire. Perhaps we are about to see and experience the joy of 1991 from a Vikings championship run. I thought I'd share this now because if it happens, I want there to be a record of it. I will say, Judd's laughing at you right now. I will not laugh at you, Nathan. I will say this. They have pulled out games late that they don't usually pull out under Kirk Cousins and Mike Zimmer. Now, those games are against a Panthers team with Sam Darnold and the Lions. But they've been better late in games than they have been in the 3 previous years. I'm willing to let this play out. Let's see, I don't know, over the next 4 games that we keep talking about. Prove it over the next 4 games, and then we can have the 1991 discussion.
I'm not laughing at Nathan. I'm laughing at the nature of the back-to-back comments that you just read with the first guy saying, calm down, this team sucks and the head coach is terrible, to I feel there's parallels to the last men's world championship in this godforsaken city. That's why I'm laughing.
It shows you that we don't know what this team is yet. It's crazy.
We don't. But it's just funny that you go from a guy that says everybody sucks to a guy that says, I see some parallels here between the 91 Twins.
Well, it's also easy to say, well, the 91 Twins started slow, therefore every team that starts slow has a chance to be the 1991 Twins. I think, well, the 1991 Twins went on a 15-game winning streak in June, right?
You never know, right?
So Vikings need to go on like a 6-game winning streak. Joe Blake via the SKOR North app says, I just lost a friend who was a lifelong Vikings fan. He would go to Mankato for Vikings training camp, wore his Vikings jersey to work on Monday when they won. He and I attended a softball game that the Vikings players played in. A diehard fan, Skol Jerry, you have the best seat in the house now. Jerry?
You like that? You like that?
Rest easy, Jer.
Yeah.
Rick Cottrell via the SKOR North app says, Zimmer has fixed the defense, but he needs to stay away from the offense. Our offense has proven they're more than capable of passing with the best teams in the NFL. Remain conservative, and we'd be lucky to see a playoff, let alone win a playoff game. If Zimmer let the offense attack like the defense, we'd be unstoppable. Even with a number one defense, you need a top offense, period, end of story. At 64 and a cancer survivor, I can't wait for Zimmer any longer. Skol Vikings. He just wants to see a Super Bowl before he dies, man.
Well, you know what? God bless him for that. Yeah. That's the whole. You have come to the right place. You are in the right place. You are in the right club because we all agree.
Yeah, and it's true. Like I think Zimmer's dream is like get the defense up to number one, get it back in the top 5, and then just don't screw it up offensively. Well, how did that work in 2017?
Yeah, and it's also in 2021, you just wonder how long. Like we literally say what he said, which is stay away from the offense. Well, first of all, you are the head coach.
Yeah, you can't.
Second of all, this league operates on offense. So that's why I'm just curious how long this can go on when the fan base and probably some people internally with the Vikings, the premise is, I just hope Mike stays away from, what is the most important part of a football team right now in this current environment.
In fact, would you even say that, forget about like staying away or just like stop meddling, if he can't be actively hands-on and helping the offense reach its max potential, then he's very clearly not the guy that should be the head coach of this team. Mm-hmm. Like if you can't trust him to like make the offense better, but he's a defensive coach. Mike Tomlin is too. He had top 5 offenses for years.
Yep.
John Harbaugh is a freaking special teams coordinator.
Right.
Are you a leader?
Well, and Mike Tomlin took that job and became a head coach.
Yes.
He didn't.
I'm a defensive coordinator who gets paid more now.
Dick LeBeau, you are changing to a 4-3, and we're going to play the Tampa 2. He went in and said, Dick, you are a Hall of Fame DC. You do what you do, and I will adjust to you. Like, that is such a leap from this. I would say, boys, this one. In the real world, if you're going to fire an employee, they always say that you need to build a paper trail, right? Like you just ordinarily now can't call a person and be like, you're fired. And they're like, why? And you're like, I just don't like you. You suck.
Not feeling it.
Yeah. You need to build a paper trail. If I'm the Wilfs, part of my paper trail on Mike, and I know it's seen as a positive now, but to me, it's more of a demerit, is this whole thing about, this year now he's meeting with Kirk. This year he's meeting with, think about that for a second.
I wouldn't want that to get out if I was him. People are like,
yeah, I wouldn't either. But if I am building a paper trail, I am going to say you are the head coach, the leader of this team, and this guy signed in 2018, and in 2021 we find out that you just basically started to give him some time.
Yeah. Now all of this can change over the next 4 games, which we keep talking about. So get your popcorn ready. Jeff in Arkansas via the SKOR North app says, I demand you guys bring back Action Movie Rewind on Fridays. So we were talking about that this week because we were going to bring Horror Movie Rewind for this Halloween week. I think our decision is that once the Viking season is over, listen, Judd's Keys is very demanding on Fridays, okay? It's very high maintenance.
He's sitting
doesn't
in the back
like to share.
He's all PO'd.
Yeah. We're gonna bring back movie rewinds after the football season, is what we've decided, and we'll get you back weekly once the Vikings are done. We're gonna do horror movies. We're gonna do action movies.
Well, we're glad you like them.
Sports movies.
We're glad you like them. Thank you.
We're gonna do only movies that are 3 hours or more for Judd too.
Oh, I'll be out on those reviews.
Okay, great. Mark Sandstrom.
Gone with the Wind.
This is a nice compliment here. Mark Sandstrom via the SKOR North app says, absolutely love your pod. Great discussions and points of view. Plus, I laugh out loud on an episode basis. Your check's in the mail here, Mark. Thanks for the light and fun atmosphere amongst all the chaos in our lives right now. Mark, thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Benjamin Marcinoff here. A couple more via the SKOR North app. I'm so sick of Aaron Rodgers' act that he is loving Green Bay this season. The overhype on Crosby's field goal in San Francisco where he said, how can you not be romantic about football? And even last week saying he's having the best time in Green Bay. Give me a break. He's acting, and the only people buying it are Packers fans and Pat McAfee. I think he's acting too. I don't think it's all. I think
Does he know that this is it?
Oh, yeah.
Like has
he's
he
either
going to
retire or like play for the
it's
Steelers
cool,
or
dude.
something. Yeah.
It's almost like he came back. They basically have, as far as I can tell, given him complete control, and so he's like, okay, cool, but this is it
for sure. Yeah. Well, there's the whole flirtation with the Steelers. That actually makes a ton of sense because Ben Roethlisberger's cooked, and Mike Tomlin has shot down the USC rumors. So, how are they going to proceed forward? Are they going to draft a quarterback in a weak draft class, or would they look to get a veteran who might be available? And if the Packers are going to trade Rodgers, it would be to an AFC team. So the Steelers, and he made that weird eye contact with Tomlin.
The Broncos still make
back.
Boatload of sense as well.
They do too. Maybe
New
Kirk will
coach
be on.
probably
Maybe
there.
Kirk will be on one of those two teams. And then let's see here. Nick Howard via the SKOR North app says, when do we get to listen to Lions Vent Line? We used to do Lions Vent Line.
We tried.
It just we feel bad.
And
I don't know.
And there's a difference between upset fans and consistently defeated fans.
Yeah.
We tried it. It wasn't that funny.
It's not. It's like, I don't know. It's like I don't want to be insensitive, but it's like
beating up the weak kid.
There's certain people.
There's no fun
the
in
weak
beating
kid.
up
There
the
you go.
weak kid.
Yeah,
like you got to punch up in life.
Yeah,
100%. And the Packers, unfortunately, are punching up, and the Bears are kind of punching sideways.
There's Chicago though. Chicago's fun to pick on.
well, Dan Campbell it suffices with Dan Campbell.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's
but
fine.
their fan base, I just feel for. Like that's not funny.
I mean, it is fun.
Tortured.
It is fun to pick on Dan Campbell, though. We should just do like daily Dan Campbell loves football updates. Maybe that's the next evolution on the show. So, all right, that's Feedback Friday here on Mackie and Judd. You can always hit us up via the SKOR North app. There's a feedback tab right on the bottom, and we'll get to your comments every single week